Hi everyone, welcome to Hooked on Onyx, the segment where we talk about coffee things with coffee people. Today, I have the person who's usually actually behind the camera on all of these, Nikki.
Good to be here.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you.
First of all, do you want to introduce yourself and also tell us your role here at Onyx?
Sure, yeah. My name is Nikki and I am the director of social media, and that encompasses a lot of different things. I do a lot of photo and video work and am the one who manages a lot of the social accounts for Onyx and its sub-brands. And like you said, I'm usually the one behind the camera, but today I get to talk to everybody, which is really exciting.
This is very fun for me. How long have you been at Onyx?
I've been at Onyx for a year now, but it feels like I've known about Onyx for forever, so it feels like a lot longer.
I was gonna say, you have kind of an interesting backstory and history with Onyx. I don't know if you wanted to touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I'm fortunate enough to have known the owners of Onyx, John and Andrea, for a very long time. My husband, Jesse, actually grew up with John and Andrea and knew them as friends before they were, the owners of Onyx. And it was really cool because around 7 years ago when Jesse and I started dating, and as I was getting to know him, he was working on the Bentonville Onyx location. And so just over the last 7 years, I've had the opportunity to know John and Andrea as friends and as clients.
Sure.
Because we spent many, many years building out all of the different Onyx cafes, and it's really, really special to me to now get to work in an environment
and enjoy
that I got to help kind of bring to life. And so it's been really fun to transition from helping to build some of the spaces to now working more on the social media
online
side.
spaces.
Yeah. So it's really, really cool to be able to plug into this spot.
That's awesome. So coffee content, you do a lot of it.
I do.
I hear the phrase coffee content used a lot in general, both from a creator standpoint and then also on the more businessy standpoint. If you had to kind of define what coffee content is, what would you say it is?
I think that when I was first kind of onboarding and trying to figure out what coffee content was going to be for Onyx, I started by just kind of consuming the content, and it was amazing to me to realize how much of it there was out there. It seemed like, to someone who's maybe not super plugged into the specialty coffee world, it seems like it's such a nuanced thing, how many people could there be? But as I started digging in and realizing, man, there's a lot of people who are talking about coffee, taking pictures of coffee, and ultimately I think that it's just people who are capturing what they love about coffee and this industry, and ranging from people who are brewing at home to people who work more in the industry setting. And I don't think there's any right or wrong or good or bad per se. I just think that it's cool that people are talking about this thing that they love. And it's really fun to get to plug in on the marketing side of it, to see the way in which you can really create some cool authentic content that isn't just sales pitching. It's it's more just authentic storytelling and sharing about what's going on. I love talking about the different relationships and the deeper story, and that's been a really big emphasis on the coffee content that I want Onyx to do is really just leaning into not just trying to sell a product, but more so telling the heart, the heart behind the brand and the people, and that's what I think is really the best way to go.
That's awesome. That kind of ties into the question I was going to ask you next, which was, how do you kind of approach strategy with Onyx? Whether it's because you do production as well. You're doing the photo and the video production alongside writing copy and scheduling posts. And how do you kind of how do you tackle this big of a brand voice?
I feel like there's a lot of different ways that I could answer that, but for me, it has felt fairly intuitive to just plug into learning about the brand, learning about the people, and trying to absorb as much of the information as possible. For the first...
You've had to be like a sponge.
Yeah. For the first several months, it kind of just felt like I was okay, what do I say? There's so much to say, and it's been really cool for me to just be in relationship with people here at Onyx and hear about the things that different people are excited about, to hear about the programs, the people, and essentially I just try to make sure that we're covering all of the things that are important to us, and share that with people who are passionate. So there's a lot of different things that we do at Onyx, and there's a lot of messages that we are trying to share with people, but ultimately I think that it all stems out of the fact that people are just really passionate about everything that we're doing. So
there's a lot of really passionate people here.
So it's just kind of my job to help
kind of
give a voice to that. Help make that visible to people who are really interested in what we're doing. And it's a lot to organize and to do, but fortunately, I'm not the only one who's doing this, and I have a great team of people who I work with, and that's like one of my favorite parts about this, honestly, is getting to work with the team, both in-house and then the creators that we work with on different media platforms. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Have you noticed any like major shifts, either in like social media and or marketing, like recently? I think moving a little bit away from coffee and into like the marketing side, like you are so focused on so many different platforms online, and like how have they changed for you in your like role here?
Yeah. I really think that a couple years ago when COVID came about, like just in general, content and social media really changed. And I personally think that it changed a lot for the better. I think people realized that it didn't have to be this super polished, perfect, ad like type piece of content. Yeah. It's like that we can just share authentic moments. We can, use a phone to take a picture or whatever. And it's been really interesting to me to see the way in which I think the audience on whether it be Instagram, TikTok, whatever, they just want access to people. They want access to what's real in a brand. They don't want to be, part of a marketing. They don't want to be part of a marketing project. They want insight into what's really happening. And so I think that shift is something that I've seen a lot of just in my time here, even like really just people who are digging into like, we want information, we want access. And I think that that's great. Like, I think that more and more so, social media really what it is it's just a link to a brand, to the audience, to the consumer. And when we view it as like a way to have a relationship, it's better. It's better for the brand. It's better for the consumer. It's interesting. It's more inspiring.
Rather than like a sales channel.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. That leads me into my next question, which is, I think, a pretty major shift that most people are aware of. The advent of like video. Like it is come back in full force. Are you a fan of it? Are you not a fan of it? What are your feelings on like the major shift towards video content over photo content?
I have mixed feelings about it, but ultimately,
I do too.
Ultimately, the honest answer is that I love video.
Yeah.
And I can acknowledge that video is more work.
Sure.
It takes more time. More things can go wrong. But I think that video has the power to connect with people in a way that photos don't in and of themselves. I don't think that I'll ever be someone who's like, all video, no photo, get rid of the writing and the photos. I think that each medium kind of has a time and a place.
To, different things.
But video is something that I am really, really passionate about, and is something that I think is an amazing tool for brands or influence. Basically storytelling is, video allows people to be kind of in the room, in a way that is just really special. And I also think that we're still like in the beginning of that. I mean, I think that the future is video, and that more and more it's going to become like as close to real time as it can get. It's just like,
the live streaming.
I think that in general people want to see more. They want less editing. They want ultimately.
It's like that tied back to authenticity. It's like, how real can we be with this?
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any standout projects that you've worked on here? Or I guess kind of in your career in general, like not even just with Onyx, but like any sort of like creative projects that have really stuck with you.
I got to go to Australia once. And
No biggie.
And do some cool documentation. That was neat.
That was a good trip.
Honestly, like in general, I feel like every single project that I take on feels new and exciting to me. And I'm continually just like blown away that I am in this job and I have these opportunities to do so many cool creative projects and work with the people that I work with. I mean, for me, it's always amazing to get to travel, like whether it be...
You've been to some really cool, especially even just like this year.
Yeah, this year.
Some really cool trips.
It's been really, really neat to physically go see coffee farms, to meet the producers, to get to capture, again, like just the relationships that exist. And every single time I have the opportunity to go somewhere, it's like, oh, this is like my new highlight, you know?
Yeah.
So, but honestly, like I'm really proud of a lot of the work that we've done just across the board. I'm really proud of some of the stuff that we've done with Well Met and Terroir, like a lot of the sub-brands that don't get maybe as much attention as the main Onyx account. Like I'm really proud of what we're growing. There's still so much
love poured into them.
Yeah, and it's still really important to me that we like treat everything with excellence, even if it's not just like talking about the coffee side of it too. Yeah. So really, I'm proud of a lot, and I love everything that I get to work on.
That's awesome. That's what I like. Could list my favorite projects of yours for like forever.
Oh my gosh.
Every time you send me like a new video you've worked on, I'm like, yeah, this is perfect. I'm like, this looks great. It looks awesome. I expect nothing less.
Thank you. I need people like you in my life.
No, seriously. One other question that I was kind of curious about, I don't want to like take it away from like a high note, but I was curious if there are any trends that you've seen in marketing and kind of coffee content in general, like what tying back to that, that you have either really enjoyed or not enjoyed, or like just anything like that. I'm always curious how people perceive the online space, specifically around coffee too, being someone who is in it on the marketing side, but then also a content creator myself. I'm like, what's happening? Yeah. What do people think about all of this?
Yeah. I think that, not to just like sound like a broken record, but I'm just really drawn to the things that are authentic and real.
Sure.
So, I mean, I think that when you see like super highly stylized things that are like really obviously just, it's like, you know, an agency did this and this is, not that there's anything wrong with that, but like, I think
there are different types of content.
Yeah, there are different types of content, and I'm personally just really, really drawn to, you know, content that like real human people are making because they're passionate about it. And I think that more and more what we're gonna see in the world of marketing is you're gonna have excited people who are brave enough to get in front of a camera and are basically just willing to talk about what they love.
Yeah.
And I think that that is amazing and excellent and lends to so much opportunity for the future. And I think that people kind of see through these like really highly stylized kind of like just commercial marketing
It's easy to swipe away from that.
Yeah.
It's very easy.
Yeah. So I really think that ultimately, you know, things that are authentic and things that you can tell people care about, that it shows through.
Yeah.
And that when the objective is to get a sale or whatever, that's kind of apparent. Yeah. And I think that as people are, you know, more tuned in to the fact that marketing has fully like infiltrated all of the content that we consume, that you know, the audience
so you have to like
smart.
step back from it. You kind of have to like reverse what you've done and say, all right, we're not going to sell to you anymore. Like, we've done enough of that. You're tired of it.
Yeah.
So let's go like talk about something else, please.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, building a brand that people know, like, and trust, and that people are drawn to because of a genuine quality, not because of, you know, some fabricated pitch.
Yeah.
I think that it just lends to more longevity for the brand. I think that it leads for more longevity in the people who are creating the content, whether it be a business or a person.
Sure.
You know, one of the things that I've really, really enjoyed seeing, and one of my honestly favorite parts of being in this role, has been connecting with different creators, both like big scale and small scale. There's so many people who love coffee who are really talented photographers, videographers, storytellers, and I'm excited for Onyx to kind of tap into that world a lot more. I'm proud of the steps that we've taken this past year to kind of like begin integrating that. But
and next year even more so.
Yeah, it's like there's so many cool things that are coming up, and I'm really excited to tap into, you know, real people who love Onyx. And it's like we don't even have to lean on all of the content coming from our own internal team. We can tap into real people who love this coffee and love the message of what Onyx is about. And I'm excited that more and more so brands are recognizing the value of
looking beyond
real people using it.
Their
exactly.
own, like, you know, little circle that they've created.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a special thing.
It is.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Well, thank you for your time today. This was awesome and really fun. I'm like really lucky and get to work with Nikki all the time on a lot of different projects, and it's such a treat. And it's super, super fun to do this with you today.
Thank you.
And so here we are, both now hoping that everything behind the camera worked out all right, because we both set this up, and now we're gonna go check and find out if we recorded correctly. But thank you all for joining us here today. We will have all the Onyx socials linked down below if you'd like to check any of them out, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye, everyone. Yay, great.